We're going across the Atlantic because I'm going to be joined by Jon-Christopher Bois, White House correspondent and a former member of the Clinton administration team, also known as Professor JC. Welcome to the show.
What a pleasure, Nick. It's great to be with you. Jon-Christopher Bois is here, live and well, in Washington, D.C., just about a mile away from the egg roll at the White House South Lawn, where President Biden is there. And I've been to many of them. It's a lively event, a lively affair, and it's a stunningly beautiful day with the Easter Bunny and about 30,000 youngsters.
Well, I'm sure it's a great day. It's a good, fun day. It's not political. But tell me, I broke the news here on Talk Radio. Went as soon as we got wind of it. He's apparently sort of said, I'm going to be running for re-election, but I'm not ready yet to tell you because we haven't decided, but I think I'm running. Ramble, ramble, ramble. What is going on? That's not the way to announce your candidacy, is it?
That's because he hasn't officially announced it. You're smart enough to realize that, Nick. He doesn't want to be overwhelmed by the Easter Bunny, but he says he does want to be in at least 3 or 4 more Easter egg rolls. So I think he's planning to stick around. Although when you officially announce something, Nick, you know this. You're a former government man as well. There's a lot of things that have to fall into place, and some are fundraising and some are official announcements. So he's playing it a little cute. But I think by the summer we shall know if Joe's running. And you know, the first lady is happy about the concept.
JC, I take your point, right? But it almost sounds like he didn't mean to say anything. Because why say anything at all? Because it's better to have everyone guessing and calling for you to run, maybe, rather than kind of hint, I think I'm going to, but I'm not quite sure yet, and I'll let you know. That seems a bit sort of unsure of his ground.
He's running. Let's face it. He's going to run. His wife wants him to run, and she'll be over for the coronation, by the way. And it's good hands across the ocean, hands across the sea. So, and we've got a great relationship with His Majesty. We had one with Her Majesty, and we look forward to the coronation. All of us.
We're going to come on to President Biden's trip over here in a second, but you've now announced formally, and it's breaking news across the United Kingdom, that Joe Biden is running again. So thank you for that. Can you announce on...
It's not formally. It's not formally.
I'm teasing you. It's British humour.
Semi-formally.
It's British humour. I'm teasing you. Now,
well, we'll leave it that way. No, I know British humour. It's my favourite.
What about President Trump?
The Welsh.
President Trump, is he going to be running? And is that what you want as Democrats?
Well, I don't know. I think he's running somewhere because we haven't heard from him in a few days after he basically threatened the judge in this case where he was criminally indicted in New York, and he caused a big brouhaha there, and it was a fizzle. A big fizzle, although... Well,
was it? Because, come on, I was doing that live on Jeremy Carl's show here on Talk TV.
My condolences.
The polls were remarkable. Now, it might be short-lived, but he's going to be the Democratic nominee if he keeps this up, isn't he?
Well, first of all, he'll never be the Democratic nominee.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Did I really say that? Republican. There you go.
We say things, you know, sometimes. He may be the Republican nominee if he can last through this, if he doesn't shoot his mouth off. And as my father, who
but I think he gets more votes every time he does shoot his mouth off. Which, by the way, I'm no huge fan.
You're a bright man. You're an intelligent man. He shoots his mouth off and he gets lots of cash. The guy doesn't have any money. He needs to pay his bills. He shoots his mouth off. He gets a huge amount of money. And then he is able to float. He sold all his properties. The Trump Tower, that's next to go. The place in Washington is gone. He had to sell that. And you know, if he wasn't so horrible, I'd feel sorry for him. I've known him for 50 years in New York, and he's basically they call him the New York Slime.
Now listen, if you're gonna start doing that sort of thing, let me put this to you, Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden, right? Can he survive the grueling presidential election campaign? The guy genuinely does not look comfortable or at ease, and we all know he has as many gaffes as many other presidents do. Is he really up to being president again?
Well, I think, frankly, I've known Joe Biden for over 30 years, and when he was vice president, he lived very close by to me, in fact, near the British Embassy.
You knew him as a young man when he was 50.
Well, I knew him at 60, I knew him at 70, and, you know, we both knew each other. I'm not as spry as I used to be either, and occasionally I'll make a guffaw or a mistake. Well, rarely.
Yeah, but you're not running the country.
Well, perhaps I should be. Anyway, the fact is, Nick, you'll appreciate this. He is very articulate. He is very vital. His wife thinks the world of him, and I think she really would like him to run. You know, what is he going to do? Sit around? I mean, people say, well, he should have ran instead of Hillary running years ago. All of that conjecture, but he's a very decent man. He's getting a lot of stuff done.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is a decent man. And I've got to say, if we want octogenarians back in politics leading their way, I'm all for that. I'm 64. It's not too late for me to be Prime Minister. I can have another crack here. Listen, I'm going to move you on because I'm going to get yelled at for time. Of course, the big event is tomorrow. President Biden, he comes in to Northern Ireland. Look, I'm going to ask this question genuinely in the spirit of trying to understand it. When we were going through the Northern Ireland Protocol issues and everyone was saying Joe Biden really wants this sorted out, can you explain to me why American politicians like Joe Biden think that they had such a significant role in bringing peace to Northern Ireland? What is it that they did? There's a whole generation that will not really know what went on 25 years ago. What is the Americans' claim to have been key and an architect and key to solving Northern Ireland?
Well, I can tell you, Bill Clinton is coming over with Hillary, and he wrote an op-ed piece, which is really quite astounding, and he lays it all out for you, and he can articulate it much better than I can. But he was involved in the accord. Joe Biden was not directly, but I think we want to see that peace. We want to see peace between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and that's why the president is meeting with the Prime Minister, your Rishi Sunak, in Belfast, and then he's speaking at Ulster University. Joe is, and he's there for about a half a day, and then he's going down to Dublin and to meet with the Taoiseach and all other. In fact, I would say the Irish Parliament. I don't speak Gaelic. I can't pronounce it, but it's one of those wonderful words. And he's addressing them, and he's having a full event, bunch of full events in the different counties in Ireland because he's an Irishman.
He certainly claims distant relatives. I guess where I'm going with this, and actually we haven't got time to pursue it, and I appreciate you referring us to Bill Clinton's argument, is for many Brits. Yeah. For many Brits, it's particularly of younger age, don't fully appreciate why America is, if you like, so influential and making so many claims about their role in the peacekeeping there, when the real heroes of the agreement were, of course, the British government willing to talk, the IRA and the political wing Sinn Féin willing to make concessions, and, of course, the Unionists. And that's what it's all about. We do know that America was involved, but I guess it'll remain a bit of a mystery as to the extent of their involvement and why everyone puts so much importance on Joe Biden coming over here. We'll find out, hopefully, when he's here. I'm so sorry, JC. They're throwing things at me to get me to move on. We'll talk again. I think it's been fantastic. Thanks. That was Jon-Christopher Bois. He's White House correspondent. Oh, yeah, OK. No, come back. I've just been told to let you say one final word.
Good. You have a good producer there. The U.S. George Mitchell was involved.
Sure.
You know, Clinton was involved. Many people for years and years. We've got the entire East Coast is filled with cities of people with Irish lineage.
Yeah, but there's a checkered history there as well. There's a checkered history. There's a checkered history, remember, because there was a lot of. It was Margaret Thatcher who asked President Reagan, I think, to try and close down on the fundraising that was going to the Republicans during that time. It's a checkered history. We welcome America's intervention, and it's all behind us, and it's very important the peace lasts. And I hope Joe Biden will be able to reinforce that message, which I'm sure he will when he comes over tomorrow. Good to talk to you. I'll be talking to you again, I hope. Thank you so much. That's Jon-Christopher Bois.